find fascinating about what you're doing in your mentoring is your books are not only mentoring young children, you are mentoring adults who have children. And so that's what I think is interesting about you being on our Conscious Creator Mentoring Network tonight, because that's really what we know is that mentoring is one of the very primary keys to success in life. Whether it's personal relationships, whether it's business, whatever it is, it's extremely important. And the more that we can provide mentors in a variety of areas through the Conscious Mentoring Network, the better. And so that's our real goal, is to take people like yourself who have a message to offer. I say, Babs, that everybody is a maven. Everybody has a story to share and a skill to impart. The problem is people don't always have a platform for somebody to know what they're doing. And so the more that we can help spread the word about people's message, and I just want to let people know that the way you do that is you can come into our mentoring network, and everybody needs mentoring. And we're going to tell you more about how you can become involved with that. But so, Babs, how do you see your mentoring of the actual parents who have children? I just thought that's what would be great to have you on, because so many people, who are in our Conscious Creator Mentor Network, they have kids and they would love to have your books.
What I do, Dotti, is I model what I'm doing in front of the parent. I rarely look at the parent. Always interacting with the child, modeling for the parent or the caregiver how it is, how it's done.
Yeah.
And hoping that they pick up. And sometimes I will stop and say, did you notice how, without even looking at the adult, because the child is still listening, whether it's a baby or it's a 6-year-old or a 9-year-old, they're still listening. And so I might say, did you notice what happened when I said that? For example, I write everything in poems and songs and stories and books. But one of the things that I wrote many years ago now is called Powerful Eyes. And when especially a child who is reticent, I encourage parents not to say shy, but rather if you need to explain to an adult why your child is reticent, then say reticent. She's being reticent today, or some other word other than SHY. Spell that to parents and say, as soon as you say shy, the child becomes shy. So Powerful Eyes is really good for the reticent child. It's also very good with children who are on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
I will say, well, how are you today, regardless of the age of the child, baby or a teenager? So what's happening? How's school treating you? Giving them a question that is not a yes/no answer, because a yes/no, that's all I'm going to get. So how or why or what, any of those other question words are much more productive. I'm going to get interaction from the child. So as soon as I ask, so how's school treating you, or how's life treating you, or whatever, the child looks at me or doesn't. And if the child doesn't look at me, I will say, oh my gosh, where'd your powerful eyes go? And immediately those eyes are on me. And then I say, do you know how I knew that your eyes are powerful? How do I know that? And I have them with me. Then I just pop out with, because they're looking at me when we're talking. And from that moment on, that child is looking at me. So we have eye contact, which is a very important part of self-esteem and self-confidence.
That's great. So, rather than saying to somebody, why aren't you looking at me? I mean, that's going to really make them conscious and self-conscious and go away. And I think what you're sharing is so great, whether dealing with children or anybody, is just this modeling that you're doing. And what more important skills than being a parent? Unfortunately, it's not something that many people get any education in, is it? I mean, honestly, most people, become parents and haven't received like any school education. That and finances, I think, are two of the most important things. And often nobody's gotten any education, received any education, and people just sort of, bumble their way through it till they learn. So you just modeling that for them and helping them understand how to deal with their children, I think, is remarkable. And I know it's making a real impact in the books. Now, the books, what I find interesting too is how you have matched up these age-appropriate ways of really making it connect with the children. How did you begin to apply all of your knowledge from all of the years of being an educator to creating it in such a truly simple way, though, that children can grasp?
Well, children have taught me to do that, Dottie.
Uh-huh.
Children have taught me what it is that is what I call a dessert. If they pay attention, I know it's a piece of language that they are interested in, the sound, the way my face looks or anybody's face looks when we're saying that word. So therefore, if I have a child who's very interested in underwear from age 4 on, they love to talk about anything that has to do with potty talk, bathroom talk. So I wrote, "Don't go out in your underwear." And just the title of that poem captures children. So I ended up writing a whole book titled "Don't Go Out in Your Underwear." And as one dad said, who had read it and came back the next day, he said, "Wow, there's a lot of meat in this book. This is not a frivolous book, and it's all fun." Well, it's desserts. So then when I was writing the Babsy B Board Book Series 1, which tells you that there will be Series 2 and Series 3, I look at the development of what is happening up here in the brain and what is happening in the body of a newborn, from newborn to the first year. What's happening that whole year? Well, they're asking, where is this? Where's that? They're hearing this language constantly, and they love stuffed toys, stuffed animals, and they love real animals. So where is monkey was a natural, just a natural. Where is monkey? Where is monkey? That one goes to a familiar tune. So big is a natural for the first year. I can you, is natural for a 1-year-old because they're very excited about what they can do. Look at me, look at me. They want us to see everything they can do. I can touch my head, can you? I can blow a kiss, can you? All sorts of things. And what I help parents to do then with the activities on the backs of those books, those board books, is to take that language and focus talk around it and build. Because the language in the book, a board book is just a short book, but there's so much more that can be done. And I call it milking a piece of literature for all we can get out of it.
Wow. And
it can make up 100 activities, 100 different ways for any little 4-line poem, song, book, or story that, 100 or more different ways to focus talk around it and activities to do that are interactive with children. It's just what I do. It's just
you're so natural at it too, Babs, but you know, when you're talking about the one, look at me. I mean, that is a core thing that all of us have throughout our life. Is it really means I want to be acknowledged. I want to be seen. I don't want to feel invisible to people.
Yes.
You know, and so children start that early on, and as adults, it's not something we do need to forget. And the reminder for me is that you and everybody else out there loves that just as much as I do. We all want to feel acknowledged. We all want to feel like we make a difference in life. In fact, Babs, the way we met was when Robbie and I took a year-long journey around the United States 10 years ago. And when people always ask me, what did you discover at the end of those 10 years? And I said, well, you know, I discovered that everybody wants to be loved and wants to love. And in the end result, wants to make a difference in our world. And it really means about, I want to be seen. I want to be loved. I want to love. So these are really core things that you are helping children with that can help that self-confidence throughout life so that they can become conscious creators. Because literally that's what you are doing. You are consciously creating these books into existence. And what I want to know is, what are your future plans? I know, I mean, when I say you're doing the brain dump, you know, of everything that's in your head, my goodness, there is so much there that you're not stopping with this most recent series of 8 books. Tell us where you're headed.
Oh, I'm headed. I am working more than I have ever worked in my life, and I have always loved my work. But I am truly doing what I call a colossal brain drain. And I am trying to take everything that I know and put it out there in some format, whether it be in a set of books, whether it be on Teachers Pay Teachers, an online store that I'm just about to birth, whether it be a pamphlet, any way that I can get, whether it's a presenting or doing this hangout, any way that I can get the message out that preparing every child for success begins at the beginning. And it begins with talk and reading aloud every day. And I have a zillion ways to make that happen without any expense, without any real work or planning, because it's so easy to read aloud. There's a sign over there. It says yield. Well, what does that mean? Oh my gosh. Well, let's let this other person go, and then we will go. Oh, so we yielded. And we've just taught the child something that then the next time we see the sign, we point to it and we say it again.
Yeah, I love this. Well, you know, I know that Chris Crone, who is the founder of the Conscious Creator Mentor Network, is going to absolutely love what you're doing. And our goal, to be quite honest, is to have people like yourself become approved mentors with our network, because we know that you have value to offer. And let me just be frank. I don't know about you, but I know that throughout my lifetime, I have spent thousands of dollars. Chris Crone says he has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on mentoring, you know, one-on-one coaching. And, you know, and at some point he realized not everybody had the opportunities he did to be able to afford to bring in these tremendous mentors that he brought in and had work with his company and these kind of things. So he started thinking, what platform could we put together where we could leverage, so see, right back into what I love, leverage the talents of a great group of people, like speakers like Les Brown, who's very well known, speakers like Kevin Harrington, who was one of the first investors of Shark Tank, you know, where they give entrepreneurs opportunities. People like this who are consciously creating throughout the world in the various things that they do. So Chris has a big family with kids and all, and I know he's going to love your books and what you're doing. And right now, to be honest, we don't have somebody as part of our Conscious Creator Mentoring Network doing what you're doing, and I think it's very important because kids are our future. You know, they really are. And so to kind of explain to people watching this, what we're doing is people can come on and they can take any of our courses that we have at no charge if they are a member for $99 a month. Now that might sound like, wow, that's a big fee, but it's not really when you consider that if you bring 3 people in who become members of the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network, then yours is at no cost. So it's sort of like a pay it forward, you know, to get people involved, and then you get compensated. You know, it's like, I don't know about you, but I love reward cards, you know, with my Visa and my MasterCard and all like that, or airplane points. You ever have anything like that?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Well, you know the value of that. So imagine like a rewards program, but it's mentoring. And when you introduce that to people, then you get your mentoring network for free. I got to tell you, Babs, I'm mentoring a young 24-year-old gentleman, and he just has started, you know, diving into the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. And he's like messaging me every day on Facebook. Oh my goodness, I just went through the course of so-and-so, you know, and then this mentor. And the goal is to collect 12 mentors a year. Babs, can you imagine if people were going through courses of 12 different mentors a year, the impact that could have on their life? I mean, seriously, that could be amazing. So you might be thinking, well, how does someone get involved? Like if I'm a person like Babs and I have content, well, we're going to ask you to donate some content to our platform, okay? In other words, you give, and then people are able to receive because you give something. And so there's a process, and you'll see some buttons down there for about becoming a Conscious Creator Mentor, and you can click on that. You can also see some of our Conscious Creator courses, and you can click on that to kind of see what it's all about. But I think that's very important to understand, because people are going to be able to become a mentor right now and be accepted. They have to go through an application process, you know, to make sure that, you know, their content kind of meets the guidelines and the criteria of what the network's attempting to do. But that's two separate things. One is a person like Babs who might put her content on the network, and the other is somebody accessing the network where they can actually, you know, enjoy that mentorship. And we even do have an affiliate program. Babs, I know you have affiliate programs too with what you do, so you understand this process. But let's say that somebody says, well, wow, I want to actually be an affiliate in this program. Then there's another type of program for you that you'll be able to access again when you go on that button that says Conscious Creator Mentors. So very exciting things that we're doing. And we just want to make sure that people understand, you know, what the opportunity is, because I personally want to make sure that Babs' information gets offered through our network. And so I'm going to be making sure that, you know, she has the opportunity to go through that process. And so that we really want to explore that opportunity and to expose what she's doing. Because Babs, I got to tell you, the worst thing to me would be that your books not be seen by as many people as we can make them be seen by in the world. Would you like that?
I would love that. That's why I wrote for children.
So tell me, I know I've got a link down below where people can click, you know, and actually go directly and access some of your books and all, and your website. So I'm really glad to share that with people. But talk a little bit about the different channels that you are offering your materials through, because, you know, again, it's about spreading the word in as many ways as we can. And once we, you know, get you officially with the Conscious Creator Mentor Network, then there'll be links inside of there that lead people back to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what's so great, because when you become that kind of mentor, then our network actually gives direct links back to you, and all those people who come into the network, they start to find out, who is Babsy B? Oh my goodness, I'm going to go check her out. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing there.
Well, I have a website, at www.babsyb.com.
Uh-huh.
I've had a website for, oh goodness, 25 years. I built the first one, and now it's still the same content. I'm still doing the exact same thing that I was doing for 50 years. I have been saying the same things, and on different platforms. A website, Facebook page is Babsy B. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Google, Google Plus, on the Hangout here, several of the other platforms. And then we have, our books are available on Amazon. We are, school reps, our representatives, sales reps are out in the schools selling the Babsy board book series. We also just have made an agreement with motherslounge.com.
Awesome.
Yes, very exciting. So motherslounge.com is another place to find those books, my books. And there are many, many more ways that we're reaching out, just trying to get the word out in as many ways around the globe.
Well, you know, that's why what you're doing, Babs, really ties in so much with what we're doing with the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. I mean, that is so much of Chris's vision. And honestly, his ultimate vision is world peace. Now, that might sound like something so unattainable to some people, but Chris Crone is a conscious creator from the word go. He doesn't know what it is not to achieve, not to create. And we believe that by consciously creating, that we literally can change the world. And when we help more people, Babs, begin to read, to think, to consciously create, then that creates a shift in them where war is no longer an option because people are too conscious to want to go to war. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really at that level that we want to take this platform. And so I say to anybody that's listening right now, if you have a product of any type, content of any kind, that is sitting with you or simply not being seen by enough people, then we want to help you spread the word. That's what we do, is spread the word. And one of the ways that I have committed to helping Babs is the channel that you're on right now. I have developed a channel for her. And we, after this hangout, I will be going down in the chat box below, and I'll be putting where you can find that so that you can access a channel just like this for the Conscious Creator Mentor Network for Babs. And that will lead to her Facebook page. And when you access that, you will have access to all of her social links, you know, there in one place that will be very helpful to her to become known. So, Babs, let me just kind of come back to you and about what you're doing. Some of the things that you're going to be doing in the future are going to be dealing with different age groups. How is that going to come into play? You're already writing those, or where are you at?
I have over 100 books and over, I stopped counting at 300, 400 poems and songs published already. So I'm adding to that every day, and they span the ages. This was my first work for babies, for newborns, and first year. And it tends to explode within me and come out. When I get into an age, I start to look at an age of child. I start to look at the broad spectrum of ideas and places, things to do with that age child. There's just no end. And so I write about each of them in the language that is appealing to the child. Sometimes I'll write for the parents from their perspective. I have a poster that is Nurses nurse and teachers teach and tailors mend and preachers preach and barbers trim and chauffeurs haul and parents get to do it all.
That is so true.
That's a poem I wrote many years ago, and it's on my website as a poster. I'm a parent is another for the parents. I sometimes write from the teacher perspective. I'm just about to publish for the first time a piece that's been in my files for years, like so many things. And all of these books, in fact, have been the Babsy B Board Book Series 1. They had all been in my files, all those texts. Then putting pictures with them and putting them into books was a major venture. Whatever means that I can put a piece is that will perhaps reach the widest audience. That's been my goal, because I intend to have my feet planted on this peaceful earth for another 70 to 100 years.
There you go.
The brain drain had to begin, and it is underway, because I have to get rid of all of this that's in here. And the problem is that I keep creating more, and I keep pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. Last night I got an idea of a giggle box with my Silly Trees poem that's about trees standing there nude from head to toe in the wintertime. That's in Don't Go Out in Your Underwear. And I get new ideas all the time to go with older pieces. So like Silly Trees is not for the 0 to 3, but it's more for the 4 or 5 to 7 or 8-year-olds. So I have all sorts of books already, and I'm creating more as I go, pulling things out of my files and making them into books, posters and songs and poems.
Hey, that's great. Well, Babs, I want to thank you for being on here tonight, because we want to help you create your legacy, because you have so much to offer. And I say this from the bottom of my heart to anybody out there. How can we be of service to you? How can we help you fulfill your dream of making a difference in the world with what you've created, of your mavenness that you have, because each person has something so unique to offer. And I don't say that lightly, but every person does. So that's really our intention with the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network, is help spreading the word about people who really have something to offer and are creating a legacy in their life. So I'm going to ask you to put your questions down in that chat box below. When I end this hangout, Babs and I'm going to screen share with her. Babs, don't leave here. When I end it, you stay on. And we'll go over in that chat box below the hangout that just took place, and we'll see what questions are there and anything that she might need to answer. But Babs, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say as we end this?
Yes, I would like to say something that you just gave me. You just brought out peace. Peace. One of my goals is to build peace, one new baby at a time.
Wow.
And so I wrote a book years ago that is still very current and still available. It's called Peaceful Me, and it's for 2 to 7, 8-year-olds. And it's an interactive book of all sorts of poems and activities about how peaceful I am as a person.
Wow.
I'm peaceful me, and peaceful people is one of, they're all ways to make peace.
That would be perfect. I think that's the content we need to get you to share, and then let it go from there. One thing I want to say as we end is another component of our Conscious Creator Mentoring Network is really paying it forward. We know that there's many people throughout the world that really are not able maybe to participate, even to get into the beginning at $99 a month before they offer it to 3 people and get rewarded. And so to some of those people, let me just say this. Every time somebody buys a membership on the Conscious Creator Network, we give one away. I mean, how cool is that? We literally, one for one, give one away. We have a lady in Jamaica right now that has a street business that is able, at no charge to herself, come on and start going through the courses at the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network so that she is learning things that's going to help her in her business. So the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network is not just about business, it's about personal relationships. We have so many coaches and mentors in that area that you can go and learn more about being in relationship, making your marriage work, making your business work, how to promote your business, all types of things. So we're very grateful that we had a diverse group of mentors in our network and that we're building that every single day. So Babs, again, thank you so kindly. Let me just pop you up one more time there. Thank you so kindly for being on here today. And everyone, I look forward to seeing you every Thursday night. We do this, but I'm going to say next Thursday night, I'm going to have the opportunity to be at what's called the Women's President Organization. And I will be out there in Arizona with Miss Sherry Tree, who created Bank Methodology. We'll be out there with a great group of women. So Babs, the good news is your hangout in this position will be up here for the next 2 weeks. Normally it changes, so I can just share this with people. Every week there's a different one, but there's also a button down there where you can go to our archived hangouts. For instance, our last hangout was with a gentleman who is the creator of the Better Me game. And he has a following of 825,000 people on his Positive Atmosphere Facebook group. So you see the diversity that we're offering here through our Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. It's amazing. And we're making all these interviews like this available to people. So without further ado, thank you, Babs. I appreciate you. You're just amazing. You're leaving a legacy. And I will look forward to seeing you all again on one of our interviews with amazing people on the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. Bye for now.